The storm season of 2018 was among the most challenging in storm chasing history, especially my own in severe weather videography. Since I began filming severe weather in 2010, 2018 had the lowest number of strong thunderstorms, it had a late beginning and an early ending, and the storm season featured no tornadic storms that I was able to film or intercept. However, the 2018 storm season saw a number of unique and amazing storms impacting my part of Indiana. From a springtime snowstorm to unusual flooding to a number of rare tropical systems, the year was challenging but also rewarding. And the best storm of the year would strike at the end of the season to create an exciting finale. Welcome. This is the story of Storm Season 2018. The storm season, like many in Indiana, actually began with snowfall. Although the winter had generally been modest regarding snowfall events, the tail end of the season saw a number of amazing wintry sights. One of them involved my favorite type of winter weather event, snow squalls. On this day, several distinct snow squalls came overhead, bringing their characteristic heavy snow and gusty winds. But the final squall of the day was really special, as we got an amazing view of well-developed structure. Oddly, the springtime seemed to open the door for the biggest snowstorm of the year, as a storm system with unexpectedly persistent snowfall gave me 5 to 6 inches of snow. For reference, the National Weather Service in Indianapolis issues winter storm warnings at 6 inches of snow. While the storm season was getting off to a slow start, I found an opportunity to face one of my greatest fears. Heights. As it turns out, I have acrophobia. And worse than I thought. Violent multi-vortex tornadoes? Sure. But any height above 15 feet? No, you can count me out. So when I found an 80-foot tall fire tower at Brown County State Park in southern Indiana, I set out on a quest to beat my fear in 2018. Unfortunately, I only made it a third of the way up before fear gripped me too much to continue. I would have to face this challenge later. But then in May, thunderstorms finally roared to life in the Hoosier State. Often, at least some severe storms would give fantastic displays of lightning at night, which I definitely enjoyed while I was sick for 2 to 3 weeks in the month. However, the biggest event came at the end of May, after Tropical Storm Alberto made landfall on the Gulf Coast and then swirled directly toward Indiana. This was a very rare event. Not only for the fact that it moved directly over Indiana, not only because it maintained a well-defined cyclonic structure, but mainly because this event occurred in late May, which as far as I'm aware of almost never happens in Indiana. After a day of gusty winds and bands of rain, the sun set on this extraordinary event. June and July tend to be some of the most active months in the Indiana storm season, and an uptick in strong thunderstorm activity did occur when they came in 2018. This is actually one of those little redeeming moments of the storm season, where a little storm in the evening that just came out of nowhere It is producing some fantastic cloud-to-cloud and some cloud-to-ground lightning, scuds in front of it, and I just keep getting pictures. It is incredible. One of the most active days of the year was June 19th, which saw a series of strong thunderstorms very near me. Very heavy rain, ominous skies, and gusty winds were common with these thunderstorms, but the final storm of the day was by far the best. Up to this point, I hadn't seen a shelf cloud in 2018, but the ominously dark feature moving to the sky that evening brought a beautiful end to that drought. The storm season ramped up even more moving into July, with one unexpected storm producing some very strong and gusty winds. But these summertime storms became noteworthy for something else entirely: prolific lightning. Holy crap! You get a combination of deep moisture and moderate instability, you get a barrage. You get a barrage of lightning. With a very moist and moderately unstable air mass, these storms produce some of the most intense lightning I've seen since the 2016 Kokomo tornado. In some cases, this lightning even caused damage. I am not a fan of nocturnal severe weather events, for the main reason that visibility is so poor. So I was a tad nervous when a previously tornado-warned thunderstorm cluster charged out of the darkness and came up from a filming location on the night of August 6th. This was the first storm I managed to get with a severe thunderstorm warning in the year, although its impacts were minimal. Not all impressive storms made on the video. On August 20th, 2018, a severe thunderstorm warning was issued as a high precipitation storm cluster moved in. After setting up at the filming location, we were hit by strong wind gusts and torrential blowing rain. The day wasn't over yet though, as additional heavy thunderstorms made their way through. Within only a few hours, about 5 inches of rain had fallen, producing numerous areas of flash flooding. What made this unusual was what it did to my backyard. Yes, all this footage was shot in my backyard, not a stream. The torrential downpours had left most of the yard flooded, with between 4 and 5 inches of standing water in some spots. This was a rare sight, as my camera moved through huge puddles where it was normally totally dry. Perhaps the most unusual feature of the 2018 storm season was the number of tropical cyclone remnants in my region. Hurricane Florence was responsible for death and devastation in the mid-Atlantic region, but the next storm down the line, Tropical Storm Gordon, took another track similar to the path of Tropical Storm Alberto in May. This put Indiana in the path of yet another tropical cyclone. All through the day, low clouds loomed overhead, and light rain showers came through my area. But with the main part of the storm moving over southern Indiana, it turned out to be a bust for me. The 2018 hurricane season, however, was a totally different story, as it was only 1 month later that Hurricane Michael made a devastating and historic landfall on the Florida Panhandle coast. Unlike most hurricanes I track, this deadly storm was directly impacting areas where I have family. With its historic landfall this morning, it also marks one of the few times in my life that there's been this huge weather disaster happening in another part of the country. There's actually been family involved in it that had to evacuate, that were in the direct path of this hurricane. In the end, they made it out safely, but total devastation was left on the coast, and many lives were lost. One evening in late September, we intercepted a beautiful thunderstorm which had developed northward through the afternoon. As I've often said, a storm doesn't have to be severe to be beautiful. generated ominous clouds and considerable rainfall, but other than that, the storm had little impact. But the best storm of the entire 2018 storm season would strike at the tail end of the season. It was largely unexpected, but this was not only one of the strongest storms I intercepted during the year, it was also one of the most damaging. On the late afternoon of October 6, 2018, we raced to get into position ahead of a severe warned thunderstorm, which had been fluctuating in intensity since it was in Illinois. By the time I reached my location, it had developed a beautiful shelf cloud and was soon producing strong gusty winds. I knew the rain was going to be heavy, but the rain and wind combined to produce some fantastic blowing rain curtains, which raced through the sky as if on the edge of a tornado. For nearly half an hour, a major downpour fell on my location, with rainfall rates exceeding 2 inches per hour and resulting in some flash flooding nearby. The strong wind gusts had resulted in minor tree damage throughout the nearby area, along with additional areas of flooding. As the rain dripped from soaked trees, with the sun once again shining, the storm season of 2018 came to a close. But before winter came around again, I decided to revisit my challenge from earlier in the year and attempt one more time to defeat my fear. I almost gave up twice as my hands shook with fear and my heart raced, but in the end, I managed to reach the top. Well, as high as I would let you go. I mean, they were doing reconstruction on the top, so I couldn't get to the top. 70 feet above ground, I had finally beaten this challenge, and with that experience under my belt, I decided to get some autumn scenery from nearby areas. none of the storms I filmed in the 2018 storm season were officially severe, and I often had trouble getting into position in time to film them. This was a struggle shared by many in the chasing community, which was a significant factor in making it a difficult chasing season. Unfortunately, tragedy also struck the storm chasing community with the loss of storm chaser Joel Taylor, who had often chased with Dr. Reed Timmer before 2013. As for my experience, it was a difficult season, but it offered many unique opportunities, such as intense lightning storms and tropical systems. It was a year marked by challenges, but also by rewards. And rather than looking at the negatives, I look back on the year with gratitude, thankful to have seen the spectacles of nature that I witnessed. And that was the story of storm season 2018. Hey, thank you all for watching this video. It's filmed with pretty unprofessional lighting and a very old microphone, but since I'm not as good with outros, I'm going to just do what they normally do on YouTube. I'm going to say the normal things they say on YouTube. I want you to take a hammer, one just like this, and hit the like button. And take a bigger hammer, a hammer that's bigger than this one, and hit the subscribe button if you would. You're going to need a variety of hammers, but I appreciate it.